Hi everyone. We're working on the LinkedIn profile. You will be having a quiz actually on LinkedIn, and you'll want to create a LinkedIn account for yourself. So through weeks 12 to 14, you will read over the lesson and click on the link. So one of the links here says you're going to go out to Module 3 in the Career Success Guide and read about the social media. There's also links here on personal branding and what's going on in LinkedIn. And I think here I have the Career Success Guide open. And so when you click on that to go over here, it's going to talk to you in the Career Success Guide about choosing your photo carefully, what kind of photo to pick, put some thought into your headline, create a compelling summary, and then fill in the rest of the sections. So you will notice on one of the things that I'm going to do on the quiz is I'm going to be marking you on your headline and your summary. So you're going to want to make sure in LinkedIn that you create an account and you fill in the top portions, at least, of your LinkedIn account. If you have a LinkedIn account already, then go back to this lesson, and maybe you want to kind of fine-tune your LinkedIn so that it looks better and it has the parts filled in that it should have filled in, and you can use your resume to help you fill those things in. So let's take a look at that. So the first thing that they talk about or in the lesson is about putting in a photo, and some people make a lot of mistakes with photos. You really have to be careful with your photo that you have the correct background. The first tip here is saying that the photo looks like you, so that it's not too old, the photo, like 10 years old, or if you had a different haircut before. You don't want drastic changes so that the photo doesn't look like you. It should look like you. One of the things that they say in LinkedIn, because it's not like Facebook, it's about connecting with other professionals. So you want a head picture of just your head. You don't want a full body picture. You don't want things in the background like a bed. You don't want inappropriate things in the pictures. In the early days, people took pictures when they were at a wedding and they were dressed in these fancy wedding clothes, or they had a drink in their hand. That was not appropriate. So it's sort of a standard now where you just put in your face, your picture of your face. It says make sure your face takes up 60% of the frame. So these are some of the tips on what to do with the picture. And I linked to that just from within our lesson here when we went down to the profile pictures, best practices, good profile pictures. When you click those links, it's going to take you out to these other websites that have some lessons on them. Be the only person in the picture in your profile picture. Get someone else to take the picture for you so it looks good, right? And you don't want it to be fuzzy, or you don't want the light to be wrong. Choose the right expression, right? Avoid distracting backgrounds. Wear what you'd wear to work, right? You want it to look professional. Some of the other things that it talks about is a headline. So usually in LinkedIn, if I just jump over here to my LinkedIn profile and we take a little peek, see, my LinkedIn headline is kind of boring right now because I am a professor at Centennial College and have been for many years, and I am not looking for a new job right now. I'm not seeking employment. So I don't really have a fancy sort of headline or tagline that I would put in here. But if I were out looking for work, I might change that. And I think at one point in time, I might have had a professor that loves to learn and enjoys helping others learn. That could be my tagline, something like that. So your headline is sort of something you put in just under your name, and you want to catch the eye of potential employers that are also on LinkedIn that are looking for people who are looking for work, because you can set LinkedIn up to show that you are looking for work if that's the case under this. Go into this jobs area here. But for right now, we just want to make sure at Centennial College that you have a LinkedIn profile, that you have an appropriate picture, that you have a headline here, and that you filled out a summary at the top, this About section is called the summary, and you'll edit it with the little pencil, and you'll write something about yourself. And there's lots of great examples of good summaries as well. Those are the parts that I'm marking when we get to the end of the course. I'll be marking your quiz, and it will ask you for your link to your URL link to your LinkedIn profile so that I can mark your picture, your headline, and your summary. And notice that up in the LinkedIn URL to my profile that I've customized that LinkedIn URL. And I've got my name in it. And you can do the same. So as you're going through the lesson, it's going to talk about how to do that, right? And where to do that. And you want to make sure that you do that. So some of the examples of good headlines, again, this is linked from our lesson. Here's somebody, they're a data scientist, and so instead of just saying data scientist, they've got data scientist, direct marketing, and catalog consultant, customer modeling. So they're putting this sort of in their tagline so people see it. Another one is web entrepreneur, e-marketer, author, visual thinker, innovator. Putting some keywords up there. Operations leader in key performance design measurements, positive financial outcomes for new lean methods and success. So people are writing these things, accounts receivable, accounts payable, urban planner. So you can get some ideas looking at some of the examples. And it says what good LinkedIn profiles have: proper individual positioning, strategy, plan around content, well-written summaries, and experience. Tell a story about yourself and your achievements. Has a great headshot, that's your picture. Great banner that's representative of you. So that's sort of the background at the top. So if we look at mine again, we see that I've just picked a keyboard. Like I'm into technology. I teach some technology, so that's pretty good. Could be something else, but that one isn't bad. Appropriate ways to contact you. Another thing here, it says what you see on bad LinkedIn profiles. They're not current. You always have to update your LinkedIn profile. So if you change jobs, you get a new job, you get a new credential, you want to add it to your LinkedIn profile. They're poorly written, unprofessional headshot, no content at all. I've seen that a few times. Hard to follow experience, and no thinking around branding or sales strategy. So that's mine. I have a few other teachers' profiles up here. This is Shauna Barnes, and she's another professor at our college. And her tagline, or her headline, says, helping people connect their goals and vision with real-world opportunities through personalized career planning. So she teaches career planning at our college. You probably may have had her as a teacher. And this is her line that she likes to use on her LinkedIn profile. And if we go down, there will be a summary and about. This is her summary section, right? And she takes a more personal sort of account here as a story. Thank you for stopping or popping by my LinkedIn profile. So there's good ways to write these, and there's lots of great examples online. So you're going to want to look up a few. Here's another professor at our college, and her headline is Experienced Educator, Staffing, and Career Management Specialist. So she works in career management, staffing, and recruiting and development, HR stuff, right? I can tell from her headline. Highly motivated, certified human resources leader, educator, facilitator, trainer, and researcher with extensive background. So there's a very sort of short paragraph that tells her summary of what she's all about. And then here's another professor that you might recognize, Linda Trail, and she's got Professor Marketing Sales at Centennial College. She just kind of has her job title. And that may be because Linda's probably not doing any other work at this time than being a teacher at Centennial College. And then she has a summary as well. So same with me, I have my title of my job because I'm not looking for any other work at this time. But if I wanted to get, a new position, I would probably come up with something that represents who I am and the types of work that I want to do. So going back to our training, read down through the training here and take a look at some of the examples, right? Tutorials for students on how to do LinkedIn profile checklist, right? Profile summaries. that we love. Let's go see that one. Profile summaries that we love. So if we go down here, we might get an example of some, right? So this was LinkedIn found these profile summaries that they love by these people. So here's Bruce Lamb, senior recruiter, right, at Shippo, and then he says, I spark joy in recruiting and enable candidates to be successful. And then he's written a summary here. I find great people, and these are fun ones, so I would suggest that you read these over. Let me go back here one more time. In the LinkedIn profiles that we love, right, by LinkedIn Talent Blog. And these are going to give you a list and some samples of various headlines, lead software development, and then their summaries. And the summaries, they say they want to be eye-catching. You want to get somebody's attention. So this person says, I caught fire coding. I always thought my dream, right? And she goes on to talk about it in the I person. Some of the LinkedIn profiles do that. You write a short story there. This one, executive assistant, she just has her job title and nothing fancy really. And then a summary, right? So you want to take a little look at some of the summaries and the headlines. Optimize your LinkedIn profile headline. Here's another one, right? So we can look at what this fellow's going to say about it, right? And those are the examples I had up earlier. So click on some of the links, review good and bad profiles, get an idea of what the headline should look like, what the summary should look like, what your photo should look like. The rest of this is about growing your professional network through LinkedIn, how to connect with people, how to make connections. I am marking that as well, actually, that you had made a couple of connections. So when you're in LinkedIn, right, you can try to connect with people. If you want to become someone's connection, you can send them an invite. So you want to get in here and get familiar with it if you're not familiar with it already. And there's lots of great videos on it. There's lots of great tutorials on it. And there's lots of links within this lesson plan here that you should be using to make sure that you have a good setup. And look at the assignment sheet. When we do our quiz, our LinkedIn quiz for this course, because it's an online course, we're not going to mark the whole LinkedIn profile, but like I said, I am going to be looking at a few things. Your picture, your headline, your summary. Did you make connections with at least 2 people, I think, or 3 people I'm asking, and you'll see this come up in the quiz. And then you're going to want to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is set up appropriately so that you can get the full marks. And I'm going to ask you for this URL to get to your profile, and so you're going to need to make sure it works before you enter it into the quiz, because if I try to get to it and I can't get to it, that'll be a problem when I'm grading your quiz. So test it yourself. You just take a copy of it and put it in another browser or another browser tab, and make sure that when you paste it in, you know that your LinkedIn profile comes up. So I think that's everything for now. If you have questions or you go to try something, you can't figure out how to do it, then let me know, and I'm happy to send you an email or a link to a video on it. Thanks. Bye.